Hello, it's me, Hannah Noe, and this is Voice Notes. Noted, I thought I would record an introduction before we get into this first. Well, it says episode 4 because I've done 4, but 3 of them are in the archive. But essentially, this is my 4th Voice Notes Noted, where I basically unload my stream of consciousness, my opinions, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and kind of the things that I'd send in the voice notes to my friends in the DMs or WhatsApp or whatever. And it's just a little test to see if anybody finds comfort in hearing it or wants to see how other people think. This is very biased, it's from my perspective, so I really want to hear your thoughts on what you agree or disagree with. And I want to cultivate a learning environment around some of the things we're going through at the moment or thinking about what we're forming our ideas on. This episode is called In My Biased Opinion on topic, and it covers a lot of very broad topics, which include fake peace, not clearing the air, vocalizing our feelings, having candid conversations, hanging out with the wrong people, getting tired of interaction, how we debate in our societies, how we don't seek out different opinions, can we be friends with people that have different opinions to us? The answer is yes. Anti-fragility, growth, not being the perfect learner, not lecturing to each other, identity and mental health, building learning environments, stress testing ourselves, and fear exercises. It is very broad. If that is something that you're very into, then delicious. This is going to be fun for you. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. It's one of my first, so bear with. And I hope you enjoy it. I talk a little bit later on about my other podcast, which is called How on Earth. It's like my YouTube channel, and that's in development, where I'm focusing on people that are trying to solve how on earth we're going to deal with some of the big challenges ahead of us in the world, and how we can not be as armchair activists and more engaged in these things to change the future that we can choose, which is based off of a book. If you want to check that out, I will let you know when that is live. These will be dropping every Monday on YouTube and Spotify and other platforms, and these little voice notes, and the YouTube I will let you know, like I've said. I hope you really enjoy this. Please give me your feedback. If it's not nice, then still let me know, as part of the challenge of putting your opinions out there. And I just want to make some friends online, and I think it's also a good place, selfishly, to centralize my thoughts, that if my friends can be bothered to listen to my long TED Talks voice notes, they can just come here, and if they don't want to, they can pass on this one. I don't give them anxiety to always reply to these really long things. So I was like, well, I might as well be a podcast, and that's where we are. I've moved it out of the VNs into the public domain, which I'm not sure about, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, this is a podcast, TED Talk in itself. I hope you enjoy this, and I look forward to this journey of learning out loud with you guys. All the love, Nom. I felt guilty for the fact that a lot of people are saying everyone talks too much, they don't do enough, there's not enough action. I read a lot and I talk a lot. I don't really do a lot. And I'm feeling very guilty for it. But I realise I just talk. I don't know why I feel inclined to. I know that's what we're told to do less of, because everyone's now being given a voice, and so everyone should have a voice on the internet, which is a terrible idea because there's a lot of crap out there. But freedom of expression doesn't mean that it is quality of expression. Not that I'm saying that mine is, to be honest. I'm just hoping that it is for someone. Because I like to engage in conversation. Although these are monologues, so I'm massively contradicting myself. I really love talking. I don't stop. And it's something that I find very easy to do. People talk about small talk. Does not bother me. Small talk is entry into bigger conversation. I don't know why people always just say, small talk's so awkward. Get past the small talk and maybe you'll have a deeper conversation, or skip out the small talk and just get straight into the conversation. I just find it so tiresome when everyone goes, I hate socialising. I hate small talk. What do you enjoy? I ask, what do you enjoy? I don't like engaging with people. You're just engaging with the wrong kind of people. Like, if you were with people that you liked, if you were talking with people that you found interesting, which you can find all over the internet, and if you tried to go to an event or find these people instead of sat at home and waited for them to appear at your door, then you could. Also, it is fun to engage in conversation with someone with a completely different perspective. And constantly we are feeling offended. Oh, the word. Offended by someone's perspective. Right, okay. There's a difference between hate and things that cause harm to people that I don't have time for, and no one should. But there is a very big difference between hate and inciting racism and homophobia and negative things. Hate breeds hate. Love diffuses hate. So when you come up to it, get curious about why it is there and seek to understand why that person has that perspective, not to necessarily empathize, not to have compassion for, but to diffuse yourself, because that is infectious. So I say, engage in conversation. I'm so fatigued by this instant conversation. That's because you're losing all your time on these little texts. Like, no one likes to pick up the phone, so I send them voice notes. I send them monologues, whether they like it or not, because I'm just desperate for them to talk to me. I don't have to be on a Zoom call. I don't necessarily want them to see my face, but I want them to listen to me. And sometimes I want to listen to what they have to say about it, but I want to be heard. Oh my God, do I want to be heard? And you know what? Anne Leibovitz has inspired me that it is okay to want to talk. It is okay to want to go to parties. It is okay to have an opinion. And we don't have to be 70. We don't have to be old to have an opinion. Because essentially, we have now said, oh, well, they're just older, so they have a different experience. But we all have different experiences at the same age as well. Why do we have to... Saying we're not conforming to society, if we don't conform... If we say we're not conforming to society, we all end up conforming to the same society within our generation, and the bigger society is seen as a different generation or a different thing, but really we're within a society. We just need to know how to interact with different people, and that's actually the beauty of difference. And you can say you love a diverse world, and you look around and all of your friends are the same. So I don't really know what's diverse about that, but some of my friends have had awful perspectives, and I have challenged them, and I have disagreed with them, and I have voiced that. I haven't stripped out their character, defamated them, cancelled them out, unless they've just been an absolute and they just repeatedly do it, and then I'm starting to question, do you know what, your behaviour, I'm going to call you out on it, and if it doesn't really change, I might distance myself from you, because but we can't, because we have one difference of opinion, just move away. Before I used to ghost, I used to be scared of confrontation. That is fake peace. Because fake peace is when something is going on and it's affecting you, and you think, if I stay silent, you know what, it just keeps the peace. What peace are you keeping? Because it will eat you up, or it will make the person believe that there's nothing wrong. And if you don't find a diplomatic way to converse about it, or not have it out, that sounds very aggressive, but sometimes it's needed, to discuss it and find a way to have these conversations, then that lack of facilitation becomes to build up, and then you start to resent that person because they keep on doing that repeated behaviour, and then they have no idea, kind of like a husband and wife. It's he's doing that thing again. Oh, fuck. He's slamming the door. He's doing that. And he's got no clue that it's annoying you. You just get prissy, and he looks at you like, I don't know what's going on, babe. Trust me, I've been that woman, and I've also been that bloke with other people. I just have... when we don't communicate, we can't exactly just say to someone, oh, yo, you're out of order, in our minds. We haven't vocalized it. It really sucks, those conversations. But the friends and the family and the people around me that have been honest and give me feedback, oh my gosh, my ears are squeaking. This is so weird. I don't want to Google it though, because I'm like dying. So when we have these conversations, I'm candid. It takes courage to do so, but when you have more courage and maybe a little bit more candid, whether it's a good thing or not, we actually have healthier relationships. Kind of like cleans out the mess. It like goes into the infection or in the problem. You like get a scoop into it, you check out the pus. It's gross. And you start to chat and you have it out and you get your perspective, and maybe that person has a reason for doing it and maybe they don't intend on changing it, and we have to start to live with it and accept it as it is. If it's something as trivial as slamming doors or the little things when you live with someone, I probably, when I marry someone, will have adjacent houses because I know that my things are equally as irritating as theirs will be, and sometimes we say we want to live with it, and sometimes if we're bougie and wealthy enough, I hope I am, that I can live next door to them, and then we're not keeping fake peace, we are having peace, and that we can say, hey babe, you want to have a date tonight, and just go through the next door. People say that that's unhealthy, but I mean, as long as you're sleeping in the same bed and then you just don't want a kitchen to be the same, I feel like that is why I want to have wealth. Or maybe live in an area that is less expensive so that I can do that. I have heard of couples that have had houses on the same streets. I have heard of people that live separately and are still friends and hang out. These things happen, and we should be like very open about these things. And I quite frankly, I'm saying all of this. I'm sure someone is going to listen to this that knows me and goes, well, I've got a list of things to say to you. Well, come and chat to me about them. Because you know what? It might make me a better person. It might make me a better friend. It might make me less of a opinionated person. And I thought I didn't have opinions. But really, I realised I was too scared to say my opinions. And then I wrote this letter to the DJ of UNESCO, because I'm just such a loser like that, when I left. And I said, I want to help people learn out loud. And they wrote back to me. And so now I've got a receipt of saying that I want to help people learn out loud. Well, learning out loud is speaking, and I haven't been doing that. And so I've been keeping fake peace. And another thing that I'm worried about is that people... I watched a thing with Patricia Bright and Grace Beverley about on the Break platform. I love that platform. Patricia Bright is doing God's work and Grace Beverley is great energy. And she was saying Grace was saying about how women are expected to be either likable, or if they're successful, they're either meant to be likable or a bitch. So they're either hated or they have to be perfect. And it's like, that's exhausting. And also, sometimes if the likable person does something wrong, it's seen as way worse because this person's flawless. No one is flawless. If someone alludes that they are flawless, please do some digging, because I am not flawless. I've got so many faults, but that's what makes me human, and that is what makes us interesting, and that's what makes us have lives to grow into and to talk about and to express ourselves through art and poetry and food and, I don't know, talking or passively aggressive slamming doors. But what this is good for us. It is good for us. And my mum said to me, the reason we call you the snowflake generation is because there's a softness. We're offended. But she said, I feel sorry for you because I blame you because we parented you. She said, so I'm sorry that we parented you to be that soft. And now I guess one thing that's different is I like this, if we're going to call it a generation thing, Gen Z are actually just out on the streets like, fuck this. And I really like that attitude. I'm really jumping on. But also we need to have that, opinion. We need to talk out in more frankly, but we also have to give room for different opinions and also have friends across these opinions, right? So there's a happy medium. I like where it's going. I like that it's saying, do you know what, that ain't right, so let's talk about it. Not to always destroy everything, because not everything equally needs to be taken down, right? And these character assassinations, these people saying, what is the truth? Well, there's a difference between facts and truth. I'll do another episode on that because I want to research more about it, but there's definitely a difference between fact and what truth is, because truth can be considered a narrative and facts are facts. So, and to the best of our like scientific or proven knowledge to date. And we can always develop those facts. Truth is the web of narration of facts, and so we need to have a discussion about this, and I would love to get someone who's really interested in media information literacy. I know someone in mind, but I can't say it on here. And yeah, it's super important for freedom of expression and for healthy societies and to grow and to just be better people. So with all of that, thank you, Anne Lebovitz, for Pretend It's a City. It has given me so much inspiration to do the things that I said I was going to always do and then never did. So hey, here we are, 2021, after like 5 years of saying I wanted to start talking over. That is what we're here to do. And I think maybe people want to hear this. Maybe they want to hear me speak frankly about things. I also want to be challenged. I'm not afraid of it. I ask you to do it, not like in a polite way, but just like not saying that you're just a terrible person, where you can say it, you're free to express it, but it's not going to lead to constructive debate. So I kind of want to understand like how we can cultivate learning environments that isn't like, oh, it's a hard journey. It's like some things are tough to learn and unlearn, you know? They're the tough things. And we'll also be talking about identity and mental health, like how we identify as our mental health. Don't like that. I experience mental health problems, but I am not those things. And I do not want to be consumed by those things. So I don't want to just like exist in them and study them. I want to deal with it and live. I want to show how I can live and be a normal person. Like, no, that's the wrong thing. How I can live and enjoy life, and sometimes there are things that affect us from enjoying those things, and they can be mental health disorders. For me, it was depression, anxiety, eating disorders. You know, I've got a whole scroll, kids. But the one thing is, I was thinking, oh, should I talk about it loads and loads and loads? And quite frankly, I don't want that. Like, it was a vulnerability. I also see it as a superpower with my mild ADHD. Oh my goodness, can't concentrate on anything. But I can also deep focus. So, you know, it's got its pros and cons. Like nature, balance itself out. And it gives you lateral divergent thinking. Just putting this in, because if someone listens to this when I'm writing my CVs to get jobs, then they just know that that's a great thing. So yes, here, back to what I was saying. I can't even remember what I was saying. Yes, trying to cultivate a healthy learning environment. We want to be good teachers and good students and build that relationship in our societies. I just think there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of polarization. We need to heal it, but we can't like heal it by being soft. We need to have difficult conversations, which, you know what, they're tough. They're really tough and they're quite exhausting sometimes, but we can also have fun at the same time. So there's a real mix. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to deliver this. We've got How on Earth. So How on Earth is essentially a talking over production. So Talking Over is my production company that I'm just like throwing out there as big energy. I'm just announcing I have that. And How on Earth is a production by it. And it is a series of podcasts and YouTube videos where I interview people on how on earth we're going to do these 10 actions from the future we choose as like a guiding Bible for how we get to the next 10 years so that our kids don't hate us for like ruining their planet. I'm not going to tell everyone to focus on the climate crisis. I'm not going to tell you to do all these things. I'm going to show what's really dope and what's really cool and what's working for people and that it can be better. I'm not going to preach to you that it's the right thing to do. I will say there is scientific evidence, there are facts, there are options, there is opportunity to grow into that, and if you don't grow into it, then you're going to lose out on a market and money. So, you know, tapping into other people's motivations that might not be led because they don't give a fuck about the environment. Okay, but you know, where's the focus going? Let's see where the trends are going. I'm not here to lecture, I'm here to learn, and learning can be with giving my opinion on it or giving my perspective and then having it challenged. I mean, I really have to grow. Like, I'm not saying I'm a perfect conversationalist, I'm not a perfect learner, I don't have perfect theories or debates, nobody does, but that is the beauty of like the anti-fragility that you can build from those diverse experiences and those diverse conversations, and they help us grow and they help us be better people, and they are quite frankly I believe, the beauty of us coexisting. Otherwise we might as well be here on these islands, and we know from experience of isolation that it sucks. So I'd rather have a conversation with someone that I completely disagree with and know their perspective and then try and challenge it and be like, hey, well, okay, that is your perspective, this is what I think, and the parts of your debate that I'm not sure about, can we discuss these and these? Because then I'd have learned something about somebody who is bigoted or someone who's got extremist views, and I could just probably figure out, okay, that's why they think that thing. And that's the historian in me. So, yeah, and you don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, listen to my podcast, guys, on my YouTube channel when I finally upload it. It's going to be called How on Earth, because there's a lot of things that just seem so indefensible. Also, the idea that we are indefensible is just so... We need to get out of that, guys. We need to just, feel like, okay, if we feel indefensible, we've got to do some fear exercises and some stress testing. And stress testing doesn't mean going, I'm really stressed, I need to test it. It means to go, do things that cause you a bit of stress and try and get through it, right? Not crazy things. I'm not saying go put a pin in your finger or something dumb, but I do believe testing different situations, pushing us through those boundaries. I'm trying to do it. I'm not very good at it yet, but that's something that I want to work through. I just feel a bit weak at the moment, a bit soft, and it's quite frankly very boring and nothing's happening in my life. And I think if I start doing things that cause me a little bit of fear or a little bit of stress, then maybe I'll get better at dealing with bigger stresses, because there are bigger stresses ahead. And the more we feel indefensible, the more things that will just happen to us. And then we'll ask, why didn't things happen for us? Because nothing happens for us, because we're not owed anything, but we can create a future and we can create things for ourselves. So that's my opinion laid down in a voice note, noted. And if it aligns with you, then fantastic. If it doesn't, I want to hear about it. And breathe. I didn't take a breath then. Wow. That's quite fun though. Got a lot of adrenaline, a lot of heat. It's like exercise conversation. I wonder if it burns calories. I'm gonna just eat and chat. Well, that would be a fucking lifestyle. If you know me, you know. Love you. This is voice note noted with me, Hannah Nome. Call me Nom, XOXO. And yeah, part of the How on Earth series. Probably should get that down to how to explain it and sell it, but just if you like it, tell your friends. If your friends don't like it, tell me why they don't like it. It will help me grow and help me give a list about all the reasons why people didn't like it and why people did like it, and then we can maybe talk about it, and then I can maybe make something else if anybody wants to hear it. See, look at that. I've got a beautiful ecosystem already. Right, okay, I'm going to stop talking. There are my perspectives, lay down in a voice note. Loves you, Nom.